Hello and welcome to Watch Releases Recap for the week of April 4th until April the 11th. This is a weekly YouTube show where I talk about the latest watches being released, as well as some industry news. First, let's talk about the new IWC Pilot Performance Chronograph Perpetual Calendar Digital Date Month. I wish IWC made this name harder to pronounce and longer. As it is right now, it's just too easy to say, it just rolls off your tongue. This watch is based on a few other models from IWC's catalog, but now they're kind of putting them together into one watch to flex a little bit of their watchmaking muscle. Naming conventions aside, this is actually a pretty impressive watch. It is a flyback chronograph with a perpetual calendar in the new ceramic titanium case. They call it ceramic titanium. Essentially, it's a blend of two composites. This case is 43 millimeters in diameter by 16.5 millimeters in case height. So yeah, it's a pretty thick watch, but that's kind of what you expect from these highly complicated watches. This one still features 100 meters water resistance. In terms of the movement powering this beast is the new caliber 89802, which is an automatic flyback chronograph, 474 individual components in this movement. It's a high beat movement beating at 4 Hz and it has about 68 hours of power reserve. In terms of the design and the color scheme, I like the color scheme, and on the first glance, I like the design, but the more I look into it, the less I like it. Essentially, you have the digital month and digital date, which is kind of cool, and it's a pretty difficult complication to achieve. That's partially why this watch is thicker, because you need space for these wheels to spin. Then you have the chronograph at the 12 o'clock position. The smaller hands does the hours for the chronograph. The longer hand does the minutes for the chronograph. Really dislike this element of the design. I think that kind of looks like a GMT complication more than it does like a chronograph complication. But hey, that's just a personal preference. Lastly, at the 6 o'clock position, we have the indicator for the leap year, as well as the running seconds hand. As you would imagine, with a complicated watch like this, it's not exactly cheap. 90,000 euro is the official price, and this will be part of the standard catalog. It's not a limited edition. There's another IWC watch that I want to cover. This one is called IWC Big Pilot Shock Absorber Tourbillon Skeleton XPL. Another fantastic and easy name from IWC, and another impressive release. Just like the previous release, this release is based on a few different watches in IWC's catalog, more specifically the shock absorber watch. That watch can withstand something like 30,000 type of G-force, which is super impressive. I mean, no human can survive anywhere close to that type of G-force. So this is more of a technical flex, engineering flex, than an actual useful complication. So this time they strapped a tourbillon complication into this shock absorber case. That's the big innovation with this watch. And even though I'm being a little sarcastic in this video, of course, it's not as simple as that. You did have to redesign the movement. So this one is featuring the caliber 82915. It's an in-house automatic flying tourbillon complication movement that beats at 4 Hz with 80 hours of power reserve, and it has the spring protect shock absorber system. Actually, the whole case has this sort of shock absorber system. It almost looks like it's housed in the spring, and as the G-forces are applied to the case, the movement is sort of staying protected in the middle. Notably, this watch was released not too long ago with a special collaboration with AMG Petronas F1 team, which looked pretty cool with the Mercedes F1 team colors. This watch here also looks quite cool. It does feature the skeletonized design that I'm not a huge fan of, although for a watch like this, I think it kind of works. This is a fairly large watch, 44 millimeter diameter by about 13.1 millimeters in case height. It is made out of the same material as the previous watch I talked about, this ceramic titanium, and this one still features 100 meters of water resistance. Now this will be a limited edition watch, only 100 pieces are made, and it is a very expensive release at 213 euro. Next, let's talk about the new Blancpain 50 Fathoms, now available in a 42 millimeter stainless steel case. This is a baffling release for so many reasons, mainly because this release makes complete logical sense like 15 years ago. I don't understand why this watch wasn't introduced into the catalog a long time ago. Blancpain waited until 2025 to give us a 50 fathoms in a 42mm diameter. I think for years, watch enthusiasts were asking for smaller Blancpain. Usually, these diver watches come in a 45mm case, which is way too big for a majority of people. Now, last year or the year before, we did get a titanium 42mm version of this watch, and I think there was also the white gold version. Now, finally, it's available in stainless steel. I guess better late than never. In terms of the case height, it's not bad, 14.3 mil, and this one features 300 meters of water resistance. In terms of the movement powering this watch is the caliber 1315, which is an in-house automatic movement that beats at 4 Hz, and it has 120 hours of power reserve, which is pretty impressive. However, what I'm not really impressed with is the price tag of this watch. So on the stainless steel bracelet, it's almost 20,000 euro, which is what, like 18,000 USD. And on the strap, it's about 18,500 euro. So that's what, like 15,500 USD. Why? Why is this watch so expensive? I have no idea. I mean, Blancpain is known for their high prices, but still, this is just too much. I think a lot of people were highly anticipating a release like this, but with these high price tags, it's not going to be a quick hot seller, at least in my opinion. I also dislike the all polished finish on the case, but that's a whole different story. The new Frederique Constant Classic Perpetual Calendar. Frederique Constant is a newer watch brand. It is also one of these underrated watch brands, and when you're underrated, you have to deliver. You have to offer a lot of value for money, and I think this Perpetual Calendar definitely does that, mainly because of its price point. 10,000 euro, which is really reasonable for a complete perpetual calendar with a moon phase. The dimensions of the case are also very reasonable, 40mm diameter by about 12.1mm in case height. Notably, this is an updated version of this calendar line. Before this updated release, this watch was 42mm in diameter and about 14mm in case height. So they shaved off 2 mil on the thickness and 2 mil on the diameter, which I think is a smart choice. What is less so a smart choice is not having a running seconds hand. I think a lot of watch enthusiasts prefer watches with seconds hands, at least maybe have it like a sub-seconds hand at the 6 o'clock position or something, give people an indication that the watch is running. In terms of the design of this watch, I quite like it. It is very JLC inspired, but that's not a bad thing. It features 50 meters of water resistance, and this one is powered by the FC774 manufacturer perpetual calendar movement that beats at 4 Hz, and it has 72 hours of power reserve. As I mentioned, this is a fairly affordable watch for what it is, 10 grand, which is not bad, and it will be part of the standard catalog. The new Panerai Luminor Marina collection in stainless steel. This new collection of Panerai is just an update to an existing collection. Essentially, they updated the movement and slightly tweaked the case, but it still features all standard Panerai hallmarks, like that fancy locking on the crown, as well as the sandwich dial. This watch is still large, like majority of Panerai watches are, 44mm diameter. The case height is not stated, but it's probably somewhere around 14.5 mil. It features bumped up 500 meters of water resistance because, of course, 300 was not enough. Now we have 500. Fantastic. You can finally go swimming with your Panerai. This one features the updated caliber P890, which is an automatic movement that beats at 4 Hz, and it has 3 days of power reserve, or in other words, 72 hours. In terms of the design of this watch, not much has been changed or improved. It still features the date at the 3 o'clock position, the seconds hand at the 9 o'clock position, the Arabic 6, 9, and 12, and pretty strong loom. This one will be available on both the bracelet as well as the strap. On the strap, it's 8,900 euro, and for the bracelet version, it's 1,000 euro more, or 9,900 euro. The new Panerai Luminor Perpetual Calendar GMT reference PAM 01575. I am a huge fan of the way Panerai does their perpetual calendars. When you look at the dial, it doesn't really scream the perpetual calendar. It doesn't have all the complexities and all the dials and subdials. It's very simple and straightforward. When you look at the case back, that's when you can read the year as well as the leap year or not sort of indication, which is very clever. This movement also features a micro rotor, which is something you're not really expecting from Panerai watches. The movement is the caliber P4100, which beats at 4 Hz, and it has 3 days of power reserve, in other words 72 hours. The case on this watch is fairly large, 44mm diameter by about almost 15mm in case height, and it only features 50 meters of water resistance, which is a bit of a shame. I think Panerai had a real opportunity to make this watch maybe 200 meters of water resistance, make this watch stand out from other Perpetual calendars, give us something different, and sort of, you know, solidify this Panerai tough guy aesthetic that they're going for. 50 meters is okay, but it doesn't necessarily scream Panerai. In terms of the material for this case is this platinum tack material, which is essentially platinum with something else like a coating on top, which makes it a lot more scratch resistant, at least according to Panerai. And this won't be a limited edition. There is a limited production for each year, but I mean, how popular are these watches going to be really? I think you'll be fine if you want to buy one of these watches, and the price is 78,000 euro or about 68,000 USD. The new JLC Reverso Tribute Monoface Small Seconds, now available in rose gold with that fancy new bracelet. The bracelet is what makes this watch really special. I think a lot of the coverage around this watch from Watches and Wonders 2025 has really focused on the softness and the overall sort of quality of this Milanese bracelet. And just looking at the pictures, it does look fantastic. I really like how it integrates into the case, and if it's as soft as it looks, they really have a winner, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see these bracelets on more JLC watches in the future. In terms of the dimensions, this one is the classic Reverso, 45.5mm from one lock to another with a 27.5mm diameter, and these ones are super slim, 7.5mm in case height. It is a Reverso with a monoface, meaning that the other side is just a plate of gold that is typically engraved. I personally don't really see the point of the Reverso with only one face and no sort of display case back or something like that, because then it's just a regular watch, right? Like you can just look at the case back of a standard watch. What's the point of Reverso with a monoface? But hey, I might be in a minority here. It's just, you know, something that popped into my head. Now this one only features 30 meters of water resistance, which is fine. This is a dress watch after all. And it's powered by the caliber 822, which is an in-house movement that beats at 4 Hz, and it features 42 hours of power reserve. And it's not a cheap watch by any means, as you would expect from an all-gold JLC. It's priced at 44,500 euro or about 41,500 USD. The new tag Heuer Monaco split seconds chronograph limited edition for F1. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this release because it's kind of ridiculous. It's a super expensive watch, but I wanted to highlight it because this watch is the perfect illustration how a one small detail on a dial can ruin a perfectly good watch. And the detail is lights out and away we go. I know it's an iconic line from F1 Start of the Race from the Sky Sports. I love that line. Everybody loves that line. But come on, it doesn't need to be on a dial. What is this? It just makes the watch look weird and cheap. Other than that, the watch is pretty cool. I like the Red Bull color scheme. I like the white ceramic case. It's a 41x41 square case. It features a TH8100 movement, which is an automatic split-second chronograph movement that beats at 36,600 vibrations per hour or 5 Hz. And it has 55 hours of power reserve. Now this will be a super limited edition. Only 10 pieces are made of this watch, and it's priced at 155 Swiss francs. So that's what, like 175 USD. But even at 20 grand, let's say, this watch is still ruined with that text on the dial. I don't know what Tag Heuer is thinking. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this week's releases, what stood out to you, what you liked, what you didn't like. I always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.